Hello, my friends. Today is day 129, and we're reading 2 Samuel chapter 8 through chapter 9, and also 1 Chronicles chapter 18. But before we get into today's recap, I want to thank you for taking a moment to check out this video. Hopefully, you're finding the yearly Bible reading challenge to be an incredible blessing to you, and hopefully you're finding it to be an encouragement as you continue to walk along in this journey with Jesus Christ. If you have not yet accepted the invitation, I want to invite you to check out the description box below, and there you will find the link that will take you directly to the YouVersion Bible app, and there you can join us as we read every single day and leave feedback on the things we're learning from God's Word. So I hope you will take up the opportunity to be a part of the community, and I believe you'll be blessed as much as we will be blessed by your participation. So today we're reading back in the books of 2 Samuel and 1 Chronicles, and we're continuing our understanding of the reign of David, who we have already acknowledged is making an incredible impact on the nation of Israel. We have been focusing on his psalms and his songs and prayers, things he's been writing in the book of Psalm, but we also want to acknowledge his military success as well. And when you look at chapter 8 and also 1 Chronicles chapter 18, you find that these victories were numerous. The text actually show us that everywhere David went, he was victorious. And it is repeated multiple times, at least 2 times in the 18th chapter of 1 Chronicles. And it is also mentioned in 2 Samuel chapter 8. We see that one of the reasons he was known was because of his military success. And we will continue to see that as he leads the nation of Israel. One of the things I want to highlight is the kindness of David. We understand the hostility that existed between Saul's house and David's house, if you will, the family, the two individuals, should I say. Even after becoming king, that would have been even more of a dynamic tension, because there would always be a comparison between Saul and David would have to deal with the reality that Saul did not do as well, and people would remind him of that. You can imagine, just as when he killed Goliath, how people were talking about him in comparison to Saul, and how that provoked Saul to be angry and somewhat displeased. So if you can think about the fact that we had a possible dynasty that never materialized being met by a current dynasty that is flourishing and materializing in ways perhaps no one imagined it could possibly happen, particularly during the time when David was out there feeding his father's sheep. You can see that this would have been an opportunity for David to be arrogant and proud and boastful, but that is not at all what happens here. In fact, when you look at 2 Samuel chapter 9, most of Saul's descendants are no longer living, and David asked a very incredible question perhaps at the height of his success, where in a moment where he didn't necessarily have to be concerned with the well-being of other people, he could have gone on and lived in his own success and paid no mind to things that happened earlier in his life when he was not king or when he was not as well known. But just to show you the integrity and the character of David, he thinks back to the relationship and the covenant that he shared with Jonathan, and he wants to honor that because he understands the sacrifice that Jonathan made, both while living and both in regards to his willingness to submit to the will and the plan of God for David to be king. And he wants to do that, and he will do that by honoring his descendants, Jonathan's descendants. This is what he says in verse 1. Is anyone in Saul's family still alive? Anyone to whom I can show kindness for Jonathan's sake? And the person that was alive was Mephibosheth. As we recall, he was one of the individuals that was lame because of at his birth or his youth. He was dropped by his handmaiden, if I can say it that way. And now here he is being called to the throne, or to the palace, if you will, to eat the king's meat and to eat at the table with the king. In fact, this was very unexpected because in um, verse 7, you can see that the text implies that Mephibosheth was frightened or afraid, and David had to calm him down, let him know this is not what you think. I'm actually here to do you good. And so he does a few things. He gives him the property that would have belonged to his grandfather Saul, and he allows him to eat at a king's table because he descended from a king. And David wanted to honor again the life of Jonathan and the commitment and the blessing that he was to him. So we see a lot going on here. We see a bunch of good things unfolding, and we have so much more to go. So I would encourage you to continue to read and see what you can pick out from this narrative that we're reading concerning the leadership of David, both his the things he did great, and then also the mistakes that he made. We're going to read just in the next couple of days some of the mistakes that he made, and that too we can learn from. But I'd like to know what you're thinking in the comment box. Leave your message, leave your response. Let us know what you're thinking, what you're learning, what you're discovering. I'm sure it'll be a blessing to everyone. Until next time, thank you for watching. Take care. God bless. And remember, live by the word.